but then also she's not. Like she also is like, there's like this weird, it's not even weird, it's like it's a normal thing, which I want to get to eventually, with how they show like Suzette basically like hating her child.
Yeah, and like thinking about her husband's body all the time.
Which is like how they show Suzette resenting the child to some extent. Where did I mark it? Page 85.
Right along.
It's when they send Hannah to the first school, and we learn that they've been sending Hannah to schools all the time, and she keeps getting kicked out, but like they keep trying to find new ones because, you know, they're concerned parents. The last sentence on page 85 in my version says, Suzette thought of the prize looming ahead of her: time, rest, peace, the return of her sanity. So like there is this level of like resenting the work that a child makes you do, like especially if the child's making it more difficult than like the average kid would.
Well, right, because she's also the mom who's staying at home to take care of Hannah. She's the one who is homeschooling Hannah, right?
Because she keeps getting kicked out of all these schools.
Like, yeah. And at one point she's like homeschooling Hannah, and Hannah is like, oh, where is it? Before that, really early on, like one of the first chapters, she's homeschooling Hannah, and Suzette's trying to teach her something. She's trying to get her to write something, and instead she writes like bitch, hate. And at some point she writes, fuck mommy, she is weak and stupid. Like, damn. So the 7-year-old who won't speak but can write like an adult, you know.
Yeah, fuck you. When I was in second grade, I got in trouble for saying fuck in school.
Nice.
Very traumatic.
What was your punishment?
A very traumatic memory. Well, it was like one of those things where like people were like, I remember very vividly, I was second grade, I was sitting in the classroom, and it was kind of during like the break time thing where you could kind of socialize and like they give you little snacks and shit. And I remember we were talking about it because we were right at that age, like 6, 7, you know, where you're kind of like, oh, dirty words, kind of, and like everybody was like, oh, these bad words, and nobody had the balls to like say it or spell it. But, you know, me, of course, my personality, I was like, oh, it's easy. And I just started spelling it out like F you, like kind of thing. And then like, as soon as I did it, I remember this one little girl, dude, she was like, oh, and then like ran away and told the teacher. And I was just like, you bitch.
Oh,
like,
bitch.
Yeah, I was just like, what? Like,
Bitch, dude.
So then I got in trouble. I had to go to the
What a
principal's
fucking
office.
narc.
Exactly, dude. And it was in like the context of us all like kind of giggling about it. I was like, oh, you just ruined it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that one affected me a little bit. But I was fascinated by how this kind of really takes the normal mother-daughter relationship, which is, you can vouch for this if you correct me if I'm wrong, usually a little hostile.
I
Between
can't
mothers
speak for usually, man.
Yeah. But I just mean like, since I don't have that relationship, but like, yeah, specifically the mother-daughter relationship, it kind of takes that to the extreme. Like it really, and it, like, you know, it's a good plot device, but it takes that like kind of natural rift between mothers and daughters that like happens eventually.
Well, it definitely takes like, takes the idea of the Electra complex and runs with it.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
It's the opposite of the Oedipal complex. So it's like a daughter that wants to kill her mother and marry her father. The Oedipal complex is what Oedipus does. Kills his father and marries his mother.
Freud. Getting some Freud in there. Is that true?
The Electra complex?
I mean, you know.
I mean, is it true? I don't.
They're metaphors. You know,
like I don't know, like just how true that ever was.
I guess it's more metaphorically. They're trying to make the point in like a psychological framework. What would cause somebody to do this stuff.
I don't think it's like literally like men desire.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
But then there's like, oh, you know, you become your parents eventually. You marry your parents eventually. Like, you know,
I think
kind
it's more
of
like
thing.
that.
Yeah. Whereas like it's not a conscious thing you're thinking, but like maybe just the brain does it, or at least, and it's only a theory, right? It's only a theory. We can't. But yeah, I was just fascinated by this mother-daughter relationship to the extreme, like this kind of resentment between the two.
Yeah, and like there is clearly like Hannah hates her mother, and Suzette, not Hannah's biggest fan, but is still on her side, right? Like she just wants
Yeah.
shit to work out.